Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories. In a daring operation in the Gazan town of Nuseirat, 4 Israeli hostages were rescued alive. Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz announces that his faction will quit the Netanyahu-led national emergency government. France says it is working with the United States on a de-escalation strategy vis-à-vis the Islamic Republic of Iran. Extensive operational activities were recorded on all of Israel's fronts over the weekend, including a daring operation on Saturday that brought about the freedom of 4 living Israeli hostages from Hamas captivity.
Israeli Special Forces conducted complex hostage rescue mission and successfully rescued 4 of our hostages from Hamas captivity in Gaza. Noar Gamani, Almog Meir Jan, Shlomi Ziv, and Andrei Kozlov. They are back home in Israel. They are alive. They are well. They will undergo medical examination and will soon be reunited with their families in the hospital. Noah, Almog, Andrei, and Shlomi were rescued after 246 days in Hamas captivity after they were brutally kidnapped from the Nova Musical Festival on the 7th of October. This was a high-risk complex mission based on precise intelligence conducted in daylight in 2 separate buildings deep inside Gaza. While under fire inside the buildings, under fire on the way out from Gaza, our forces rescued our hostages.
Upon arrival of the 4 Israeli hostages at Sheba Medical Center, they underwent medical tests while in a separate room in the same hospital. The Yamam Special Operator Chief Inspector Arnon Zamora, who commanded the forward force during the hostage rescue operation, underwent critical surgery. Regrettably, Chief Inspector Zamora succumbed to his wounds. He is survived by his wife and 2 children. He was laid to rest at the military cemetery at Mount Herzl in Jerusalem. Meanwhile, at Sheba Medical Center, Dr. Itai Pesach said that the rescued hostages suffered from malnutrition.
The nutritional status of the captives that have come back, all of them are in severe nutritional deficiency with significantly decreased muscle mass and interruptions to their metabolic status. It is clear, especially at the first period of the captivity, that they did not receive adequate nutrition, and therefore they have endured significant impact to their physical state. The teams are here, the psychosocial teams are supporting them and their families in going into this very happy and exciting period, but also a very difficult period mentally for them after the months in captivity. I'm sure that a lot will surface as time passes. We have seen that with the previous captives, and I'm sure that the very long period that they have spent in captivity would leave its mark not just on their physical status, but also on their mental health.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the hostages at Sheba Medical Center, after which he pledged that Jerusalem will do everything in its power to rescue all of the hostages back to Israel.
Israel just carried out a remarkable rescue operation of 4 hostages held by Hamas. This operation required ingenuity and courage of the highest degree, and our soldiers performed in an unmatchable way. We're committed to getting the release of all the hostages, and we expect Hamas to release them all. But if they don't, we'll do whatever it takes to get them all back home. Hamas is committing war crimes every day, including the holding of these hostages. Our soldiers are performing in the most valiant and moral way to end this war with a victory against these killers and against these kidnappers, and we shall prevail.
While vocally resolved to guarantee a decisive Israeli victory against Islamist Hamas, Netanyahu's governing coalition essentially sustained a blow over the weekend when Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz announced that his National Unity faction would quit the emergency coalition.
לצערי, נתניהו מונע מאיתנו להתקדם לניצחון האמיתי שהוא ההצדקה למחיר הכואב והמתמשך. לכן, אנחנו עוזבים היום את ממשלת החירום. בלב כבד, אך בלב שלם. החלטות אסטרטגיות גורליות נתקלות בהססנות ודחיינות משיקולים פוליטיים. בכנות, להיכנס לממשלה הייתה החלטה פשוטה. לצאת כשחטופינו במנהרות החמאס, כשתושבי הצפון הרחק מבתיהם, ואלפי לוחמים בחזית, זו החלטה מורכבת ומייסרת.
Gantz went on to stress that while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant know that which is necessary to defeat Jerusalem's enemies, while voicing hope that political considerations would not cloud their judgment moving forward.
I was very privileged, together with my friends, to bring to the cabinet room all the experience we have. I know that the other people are staying there, mainly Yoav Gallant and Prime Minister himself. They know what should be done. Hopefully they will stick to what should be done, and then it will be okay.
Irrespective of Gantz's warning, prospects of the narrow Netanyahu-led coalition adopting an outline for the release of dozens of terrorists in exchange for at least 36 hostages in Hamas captivity has become less likely. Nevertheless, the Biden administration remains determined to reach an arrangement with the Islamist Hamas that would bring about a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, as was asserted by President Joe Biden during a joint press conference with his French counterpart, President Emmanuel Macron, during the course of which both presidents warmly welcomed Israel's successful hostage rescue operation.
But before I begin my remarks, I want to echo President Macron's comments welcoming the safe rescue of 4 hostages that were returned to their families in Israel. We won't stop working until all the hostages come home and a ceasefire is reached. That is essential to happen.
À Gaza, nous voulons obtenir la libération immédiate des otages. Et à ce titre, nous nous félicitons des 4 otages israéliens libérés ce jour par l'armée israélienne. Nous voulons parvenir à un cessez-le-feu immédiat et ouvrir la perspective d'une solution politique, la seule à même de créer les conditions pour une paix juste et durable et répondre aux demandes de sécurité des 2 peuples.
President Macron went on to address the Lebanese-Israeli front, where the Iranian proxy Hezbollah continues to launch repeated attacks against military and civilian targets throughout northern Israel.
En parallèle, nous allons redoubler d'efforts en commun pour éviter une explosion régionale, notamment en Liban, où nous partageons l'urgence à avancer sur des paramètres de désescalade sur la ligne bleue, comme sur le volet institutionnel. Nous avons acté une coordination étroite entre nos 2 pays dans les discussions avec Israël d'une part et avec le Liban et l'ensemble des parties prenantes d'autre part.
It is important to stress that one of the main stakeholders includes the sponsor of the Lebanese hostilities versus Israel, namely the Islamic Republic of Iran, and to which President Emmanuel Macron asserted that Paris and Washington are pursuing a de-escalation strategy.
S'agissant de l'Iran, nous faisons le même constat d'une stratégie d'escalade, tous azimuts, qu'il s'agisse des attaques sans précédent contre Israël, des manœuvres de déstabilisation régionale ou bien sûr du programme nucléaire iranien. Nos 2 pays sont déterminés à exercer les pressions nécessaires pour enrayer cette tendance, ce que nous avons encore démontré il y a quelques jours à peine en adoptant ensemble une résolution à l'Agence internationale de l'énergie atomique.
Iran evidently did not get the memo, since its proxies throughout the region continue to foment instability, including in the Red Sea, where the Iranian proxy Ansar Allah, which is dominated by the Houthi tribe, persistently launches attacks against Western vessels, both civilian and military.
نفذت القوات البحرية وسلاح الجو المسير والقوة الصاروخية في القوات المسلحة اليمنية عمليتين مشتركتين في البحر الأحمر ضد سفينتين تابعتين لشركات انتهكت قرار حظر الدخول إلى موانئ فلسطين المحتلة، وهما سفينة إلبيلا وسفينة أول جنوى. وتمت عملية الاستهداف بعدد من الطائرات المسيرة والصواريخ البالستية والبحرية، وكانت الإصابة دقيقة بفضل الله.
U.S. Central Command acknowledged the Iranian proxy Ansar Allah launched separate projectiles toward U.S. coalition and commercial vessels. Nevertheless, in contrast to the claims by the Houthis, all of the projectiles were successfully intercepted, and there were no reports of any injuries. Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. Separately, I'd like to encourage you, pray for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our next update of TV7 Israel News. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.